Alright guys, Thrill Me Thursday time, and this week it is top 5 witch horror. So that I think is a cool idea. Again, I love every week. Great ideas, Drew from Native is not Devon Graham. He always finds great ideas for these top 5s. And this is a really cool one. Because like for me with horror movies with witches, like I really do like the ones that I've seen. And I just think I compiled a pretty good list of stuff that I've either just watched recently or I've watched for years. So, without further ado, let's get started. And number 5 would be Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem. And this one is on imagery alone and cinematography alone. This one is really, really incredibly beautiful. This is a very beautiful movie. I really like just the fact that this Rob Zombie movie felt different than the other ones in a lot of ways for me, and I felt like this one is one of his most restricted one, where like it's not as much about like the dialogue. It's more about like this character like dissenting into this like witch's coven, and I think it's really cool and really fascinating, and I really did like this movie a lot. I think it's great. So I had to put it on this list. Number 4 would be House the Devil, which is one that I watched a year ago, I think, and I really, really love that. It's a great movie. You don't know anything involving witches until the very end of the movie, but the movie is not really centered on that. But just as a movie, this is a fantastic movie, fantastically done. Feels like it's literally out of the 70s. And whenever shit hits the fan, it is insane with just what these witches are doing. And it's really, really effective and really scary and really works. Number 3 would be, funny enough, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. One of my favorites. I've seen this so many times. And this one in particular is just, again, it's really cool in how this one involving witches really just like oozes Halloween. Like this movie is more Halloween than the original movie, even though I love the original movie more than this. But this one is just like it feels like you're literally drenched in Halloween like cinematography and atmosphere, and it's just really, really well done. And it's very similar to something like Body Snatchers, but I think that it works to its benefit in how really creative it is and how creepy this guy, Colonel Cochran, is, and how he's got all these androids that he creates and does his bidding. That's really, really cool, and I really like just how they got a piece of Stonehenge and using that to kill kids all around the world is pretty insane. But I think it's really cool premise, really, really just awesome movie, and I've seen this so many times. Love Halloween 3. Number 2 would be The Witch from 2015, and this one really, really, really creeped the crap out of me. Like, this one is really creepy and really, really disturbing. There are moments in this movie where I just sat there like, oh my god, like these witches make people hallucinate this family while they're getting killed or getting injured. And there's like a moment where the mom character is imagining that I think a baby is sucking on her nipple, and you see the real thing that's happening, and it's a crow pecking and pecking at her nipple and ripping it off. And it is just so gross, and stuff like that in this movie is so effective. And there's moments of like the beginning moment where this little girl is like, or teenage girl, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, is with the baby going peekaboo, peekaboo, and like whenever she puts her face up and then looks away, looks back, the baby's just gone. He's just disappeared. And what these witches do is really, really just effective and so scary, and I really love this movie because of that. Number 1 would be Suspiria. This one is just it always gets me, and how this one is just so great. Again, like House of the Devil, it's not fully like dependent on the whole movie relating to the witch plot, but just as a movie in this top 5 list for me, I think this is really one of my favorite movies ever. And I really, really love how creepy these witches are. I love how the main witch is like this invisible thing that like just shows in like a curtain drape, and like that's the way that Susie stabs the witch, and I think that's really cool. And I think that the remake as well, which I should have also had on here as well, if there was more than a top five, I would have. But the remake as well, with how they interpret witches, it's just so great. And it's so creepy with this movie, just how they're done. And I really think what they do in the movie, like having all these creepy things happen, having people die from weird circumstances, I think really is cool for these witches. So that's why Suspiria is my number one. It's just really a great movie, and it's really great with what they do with these witches, even if they're not like the full story, because you don't really know that they're witches until at least the halfway point, whenever Goblin's music says witch, and that's still not, you fully don't know still. But that is my top five witch horror. So this week I thought was, again, a really great week. So tell me your choices down below, and make a video if you want them. And Drew will put it in his playlist if you hashtag Thrill Me Thursdays in the video. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching.